Good morning once again for my creepy doorway. Apologies for that, but today we're going on a garden tour, so let's get away from the creepy door and cut to nice photos of my garden. My garden this year is going to be a little bit more ambitious, even though my garden last year nearly killed me. The garden has been a huge labor of love, with a lot of emphasis on the labor part, but also a lot on the love part too. It's been a huge amount of work. In February, I started work on more raised beds. It was a lot of digging. Instead of sort of piling soil up, I basically dug paths out and by doing so made raised beds. It was a huge amount of work. I was doing it for at least a couple of weeks and I'm still not actually done. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think I've got a cool design. There's lots of beds, plenty of space to plant things, and I even have sort of a space designated to be a fire pit and kind of a hangout area down in the garden as well. Yeah, so I'm excited to show you. Let's go take a look. So I'm in my garden. I'm kind of hiding over in an area that I hope is a bit sheltered from the wind. Actually, maybe I'll just have a little seat down here. Okay, yeah, I'm in like a nice little nook and cranny. It's a much better backdrop, I think, than my creepy doorway. So, you know, in amongst the lemons, it's pretty nice. It is sort of a pretty manky, dirty water tank back there, but pay no attention to that. Pay attention to the lilies. So I made 3 garden beds last year. One of them sort of just emerged after moving the soil from the top terrace down to the bottom terrace to make space for my car. It basically just made this giant mound of dirt. I didn't know what else to do with that giant mound of dirt, so I bought some compost and soil in bags from the shop and I put it on top. I mixed it up, covered it in cardboard, covered it in mulch, and I planted a bunch of things. So that bed was sort of made just by the dirt that landed where it landed, and I added some stuff on top, and then voila, raised bed. I planted a few trees that are more for looks, and hopefully they'll give me some privacy. The idea is that they'll hopefully grow big and get all bushy and give me a little bit of privacy from people walking up and down the path that's right next to my land. I think 2 out of the 3 live, and one of them does not look so healthy. So I'll need to investigate what they're doing. I'll also want to prune them in some way that is more conducive to having privacy in the future rather than just some giant tree that goes up instead of sideways. And then I planted it with a bunch of tomatoes and jalapenos. Tomatoes, because I love them, I only focused on cherry tomatoes last year. So this year's garden will have loads of jalapenos again. I even managed to overwinter some, which is exciting. Loads of tomatoes. I'm going to try for big tomatoes and little tomatoes. And I'm excited to get everything going again in the garden. I've got way more beds. Plus I have a whole bunch of other things I want to put in. Pumpkins. I don't even remember. My cold frame greenhouse is full of stuff. But the focus will definitely be on cucumbers, jalapenos, and then to a lesser extent tomatoes. Last year, 3 garden beds. I had loads and loads of food. I was overwhelmed by the end of the year. So much so that I sort of swore off of doing a large garden again, even though last year was a small garden. However, I have learned nothing, and this year's garden is expected to be absolutely enormous. But I do love a challenge, so I think an enormous garden will be okay. As long as I can figure out irrigation and keep things a little organized, I don't think I'll get too overwhelmed, but those are of course famous last words, and I haven't actually started yet. So let me take you on the tour then of what I have so far. So here we are beside the lemon tree. This branch has actually recently collapsed, so that's kind of a bummer. I have a lot of picking of lemons to do and giving them away, processing them. Right behind me is my water source, the Hole of Mystery, as I've mentioned in some other videos. And right now I'm actually working on tank repairs, so it looks rather strange in here. Tank repair / splash pool building. And then continuing out from the water tank into the jungle area. This is only jungly because I need to fix the leak so the water doesn't feed all of these plants and then clear it out. Let's go from the jungle to the entranceway and start here. My house is just a short little jaunt up there, up the hill, and then it's just a little short walk down into the garden, where eventually you'll be greeted by a gate that I make, and these kiwis, in theory, will climb over the gate, making a lovely entrance. And you enter here, and where will I take you first? Let's go to the hugelkultur bed, shall we? I have filmed the whole process of making this thing. Probably took me about 4 or 5 days, and I've put together some footage into a video that I'll release shortly. It won't be a how-to, it'll be more of a how I did it. So you can see what lies beneath the bed, and maybe get some tips on what to do and what not to do. Then over here I have some lettuces, which seem to be doing okay. Chives, which seem pretty happy down here. And then I've got a plum tree, which does have some sign of life as far as plums go. Looks like we've got a little fruit there. I don't think the leaves are sort of supposed to look that. It kind of looks like a zombie tree. I'm amazed it's actually growing some fruit. It does need a prune, so I should talk to somebody who knows what they're doing. Give it a nice little prune at the end of the season, and try to bring it back to life. Try to figure out what's happening with these leaves. They look a little funky. But let's see what happens with the fruit. And over here we have what I would say is one of my greatest disasters so far. So basically I planted a whole bunch of carrots in rows, and one of my favorite things to do in life is thin carrots. I don't know why. It's sort of just like, carrot, I choose you, I don't choose you, I choose you, I don't choose you. I really enjoy that, but I'm not entirely sure what that says about me. But what happened is I ended up sort of mulching with a light sprinkling of hay, which was very foolish because then all of these weeds and grass just sort of sprouted up. And now I can't find my carrots. I have no idea where they are. There's other stuff in here. I put some onions around the edges. There's radishes in amongst that. I did plant beet seeds, but I haven't really seen them. Anyway, this bed obviously needs a lot of attention. I think what I'll end up doing is just trying to dig it out around the onions. The onions seem fine. Plant something else in here eventually. This is a goji berry. This is a goji berry. Somewhere in here is a goji berry. Here, goji berry. Here, goji, goji, goji. Okay, that's definitely a two-handed job. This looks like a goji berry. This one doesn't look so happy. These might need pruning. They might need more water. I'm not really sure. Yeah, lots to do. And then down here we have another garden bed, a long one. Nothing in here so far, and I've sort of only half put the composty, soily stuff on and mulched it. You can sort of see I've got store-bought compost and mulch that comes in bags. It's not ideal, but I don't have enough of my own. And then I put a layer of cardboard on, and then I put a layer of straw as mulch. Eventually I will come poke holes in the cardboard, like pull the mulch apart, poke holes in the cardboard and plant stuff in the hole. And in theory the cardboard should mean that weeds don't come up quite as aggressively. And at the other end of the garden bed, we have some lovely gnarly grapevines that look pretty old. Last year they did nothing for me. The year before I got a few grapes off of them, so I was pretty happy with that. I would love to get a lime tree in here, sort of somewhere in the middle. I feel like my lemon tree does really well, and I wonder if the lime tree will do well as well. Will do well as well. But everywhere I dig seems to have a rock. And so here's another raised bed that I did. I've got a flower called tansy there that I got from a friend. Looks like it's got some wild mint growing. And I've got some peas. These probably need a trellis soon. But according to my friend, they're not actually doing very well. Oh wait, they are. They're growing peas. That's cool. So I've got mange tout growing here, which is kind of nice. But really these peas are like super tiny. I don't think I got them in the ground quickly enough. And also something seems to be munching at it. Elsewhere in this bed I have some more peas that are mangled to death. Hello, mangled peas. And then in these little hole bits, there is no evidence of them, but I probably planted about 6 or 7 beans green beans. But something has eaten them down to the very bottom. Here we have my raspberry bed. Some of the canes are doing fairly amazingly well, and many of them are just sticks. So I'm not sure what to do about the sticks. I'll probably pull them out and replace them with something that's kind of a complementary plant for raspberries. Yeah, it seems like half of them have taken and half of them haven't, so that's a little discouraging. I have more comfrey down here, which is doing pretty well. This is my nightmare currently. Because the water tank's been leaking, it's super overgrown with all kinds of stuff. The lilies have expanded. They're slowly taking over. I think they might have even engulfed my poor little jalapeno plant. Where are you, little guy? Oh no, it's still it's coming back to life, so that's super exciting. There's lots of exciting things in this garden, and the overwintering of my jalapenos is one of the things I'm most excited about, because I'm a geek, I suppose, but also because apparently when you overwinter them, they produce way more quickly and way more. So I'm excited to see how this goes. I just need to clear out this lily monster and the mint monster as well. And so as with the lilies, this wild mint really likes water, and it's sort of invading my space, man. It doesn't taste great though, so it smells amazing, but it's not really the type of thing I'm going to be sticking in a mojito. So if you can't cut it in a mojito, my friend, you're on the chopping block. I'm sorry. I need to liberate this little guy. Hello, jalapeno. But it is kind of sad to clear the lilies out, because I don't know if you can see in there, but there's a little bee. I don't know if it's dead. It doesn't seem to be moving. But let's just say he's alive and doing his thing. It looks like there's two, maybe. Anyway, I'll keep the lilies around as long as I can, but they really are kind of encroaching onto my space. So these lilies can stay, but I'm pretty sure these guys have got to go. But maybe not this year. As long as I can liberate the jalapenos and give them a bit of space, then maybe the lilies can stay for a while. And so over here we have, what is this thing? It's a gooseberry. And it doesn't look super happy, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why these leaves are brown and these leaves are green. So I'll be observing him and seeing what happens. And then another super exciting thing for me as a lover of strawberries is the number of strawberries I have. I have so many strawberries. This is my blueberry bed. I'm quite excited about this guy. I'm less excited about the state of the actual blueberries themselves. I accidentally killed 3 plants when I moved them, I think, from the top terrace down here. The guy in the middle seems to be doing okay. He's got some flowers on him. And I've got a couple more little ones because I wasn't sure that these would survive. I was ever hopeful that they would come back to life, but no, I think they're just sticks at this stage. I also have this asparagus. I think you could probably use with some kind of a prune of some sort. Apparently he likes to go with strawberries, so I've got him in my strawberry bed. And I'd love to plant more. It's quite difficult around here to get asparagus crowns. I definitely should have bought more when I had a chance, so I'm trying to grow some from seed, and then hopefully I'll have a whole bunch of asparagus in here. Okay, so there you have it, my little garden that's about to become very big and probably quite stressful and overwhelming. But, you know, isn't gardening about just being totally stressed out? You know, that's what I've always heard. Lots is going to happen in the next few weeks probably, and especially in the next month or 6 weeks. So within that time, I'll do another tour, check in and see what's happening, see what's come to life, see what's growing, see what's dying. Successes, failures, joys, sorrows, happiness, sadness, etc., etc. So enough of the tour. It's time to get to work making a garden bed. Alright, so I've got a few tools of the trade. I need to find my enchada, which is a large hoe-like thing that is the most useful tool I've ever encountered. If you can get your hands on an enchada / giant hoe, do it. They're very useful. So I think today what I'd like to do is make this into an actual garden bed instead of just the shape of a garden bed. So I'm gonna get everything I need down here. I've got my cardboard, I've got some compost, some horse poo and stuff to move down. And I'll get the right tools and get some mulch, straw, great mulch, hay, grassy, weedy nightmare mulch. Not to be used, well, at least not in my garden. I'm not using you in my garden anymore, hay. And I'll get all set up down here and I'll get to work on turning this into a garden bed ready for planting. That stuff was pretty stinky. It got rained on, and I guess it's just been kind of brewing in there in the wheelbarrow, turning into something pretty funky. But it seems like the funkier stuff is, the better it is for the garden a lot of the time, so I'm not going to complain. So I'll grab the cardboard, I'll lay it over, I'll grab some straw, I'll lay that on top of the cardboard. So I don't know if it's absolutely essential to wet the cardboard. I just find that it makes it easier to kind of mold it around the shape of the bed. So that's what I do. And this is the good stuff right here. I love it. I don't know if it's weird that this is like nasty, rotten, old straw is one of my favorite things in the garden. I guess this is who I am now. Okay, and there we have it in all its strawy, cardboardy, mulchy, horse pooey glory. A finished garden bed ready for planting. I'm rather excited. Can't wait to do the next one. And I'm not even kidding. I don't know why, I just feel like I should pose with a rake for this end video. Great day. I'm super happy to have that garden bed finished. I'm super happy to have shown you around my garden. I find I notice loads of things that I wouldn't otherwise notice if I wasn't shoving my camera into the garden beds really close. Lots of little bugs, lots of things happening with my vegetables and things. I discovered the mange too, which is pretty cool. Yeah, just like really nice, really lovely day. My main focus in life right now is trying to speak without actually saying the word every 2 seconds. Surprisingly difficult, but I'm actively trying to not say and I still say it all the time. I don't know how to stop, but I'm trying. I realize it's probably very annoying. It's annoying for me to watch, so I imagine it's annoying for you to watch. Okay, thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to the next video. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a little intro video, or maybe I'll take you inside my house. Or maybe it'll be a video of me fixing my water cistern. I haven't decided, but I'm looking forward to making it and sharing it with you. So I hope you stick around, and I'll see you in the next video.